began here on Spike Night. The starting lineup of the Oregon State Beavers under second-year head coach Mark Barnard. He had been here for 11 years, an assistant to Terry Liskevich. Keep an eye out for middle blocker Corey Cheshire. They need her to be on her game so that they can't focus too much on Mary-Kate Marshall, although Mary-Kate typically draws doubles no matter what. And a lot of pressure always on the setter, Kylie McLaughlin. She is the elite setter that Oregon State needed. Just a freshman, excellent at turning poor passes into hittable balls. And for the Arizona Wildcats, under head coach Dave Rubio, his 26th year, second longest tenured coach in the Pac-12 to Utah's Beth Lanier. And again, they're going with the first-year setter in Julia Patterson. Kimberly Gutierrez in at libero, replacing McKenna Martin, who's out with a concussion. And Amy, you and I talked with Dave earlier this week and again today, and he reiterated to us today the biggest key for him is pressure from the service line. They had 18 service errors against town.
Right, so it's definitely that fine line between pressure but also keep the ball in. But they're going to have to really be aggressive behind the service line to slow down Oregon State. Also for Arizona, they really want to side out quick. They don't want to extend the rally because for the Beavers, their defense is their mojo. It gets them going. So the longer Oregon State can extend the rally, they're going to have the momentum.
Yeah, it was funny listening last week to Mark Barnard, the head coach of Oregon State, tell Pac-12 Networks, at least Woodward and Holly McPeak, digging the ball, that's our juju.
Yeah, I think we asked him about that, and he said, I don't think I've ever used that word in my life.
I asked him if it was an Australian term, and he said, well, if it is, I don't know about it. He said it must have been Mike Fright. So digging, whatever the case, is Oregon State's juju. They keep the ball alive, and it really lends itself to entertaining volleyball.
Well, I think there's nothing like a great defensive play to just raise the momentum onto your side. It gets the crowd going. It just gets everything rolling as a team.
Arizona, a young team, but they are a talented team. Dave Rubio saying, you can't compete in recruiting with some of the bigger schools. And there you look at the sisters. Paige Whipple is a freshman for Arizona. Her sister Hannah Whipple is a student manager for Oregon State. Paige is from less than an hour from here in Salem, and I talked to her a little bit ago. She has more than 50 people here tonight.
Awesome. Should be a fantastic match to come watch.
So the Zona Zoo hits the road here at Gill Coliseum in Corvallis. Good early pass by Mary-Kate Marshall. Swing for Bennett. She was Paige Whipple's teammate in club, and now Paige going off speed into the hands of her former club teammate. Mary-Kate Marshall, back row attack. She gets dug by the setter Patterson, pushed over by Liz Shelton. Free ball coming for the Wildcats. Good first point here. Swing for Shelton into the block of Maddie Goings. Going to 5'9", but she gets there.
Well, and that's the thing when you're going up against a smaller block. A lot of times hitters will think they have a ton of court to hit into, but Goings very smart. Look at her take away that seam, drop that left hand right into it.
Good pass that time by Gutierrez, but mistiming between Patterson and the person taking the swing, Devin Cross, both sophomores. And so Grace Massey back at the service line again. And Dave Rubio saying he wants to limit those runs. Massey served 10 points in one set consecutively against Colorado earlier this year, but here it's a service error.
She definitely is aggressive attacks from behind the service line, making that one of Oregon State's best scoring rotations.
Here's Paige Whipple. She's learning to be a sixth rotation player here as a freshman. Swing for Goings and a kill for Maddie Goings. So she has an early block and a kill.
And Maddie Goings really kind of shocking the Oregon State coaches as she's come in and done such a great job becoming that sixth rotation player, showing she can pass and hit him and really take all that pressure on it, just a freshman.
Good pass by Whipple. Swing for Liz Shelton. High off the hands. Dug by Kayla Ellis. Swing for Mary-Kate Marshall. Dug by Whipple. Patterson dialing up Kendra Dahlke. Her first swing. Swing for Cheshire. Over dig. Ellis was right there. Goings goes off speed, but into the block of Crush. Devin doing a nice job to get that back over the net.
And you can tell the tempo on both these teams. They like to run quick offenses. That's shooting that ball to the outside very fast. So coming out of transition, out of the dig, it's really a blur. And so both these teams, the blocking lanes have to be on their game.
Katie Smoot on to serve. She has a good jump serve. Backslide Corey Cheshire, dug by Patterson, but past the pin and out of bounds. Cheshire has her first kill.
Cheshire running that quick slide, and both teams actually run a very fast slide to the antenna. Their middles are very good off one foot, and they can really attack behind the setter.
Candace Denny really good at that. This time the swing for Dalkey, going back corner, and goes a little long. Kendra Dalkey, last year she had a great tandem with Calais Mao. But this year, a lot of pressure on her because Mao's graduated, so they're relying on Dalkey. Free ball coming for Oregon State. Lots of options for McLaughlin. Backslide Cheshire. One-hand dig by Whipple. Kept up in the air by Denny. Another free ball coming for the Beavs. This time it's Mary-Kate Marshall who finds the floor.
McLaughlin for Oregon State doing a nice job moving the ball around, attacking antenna to antenna, opening that door for Marshall to get a big seam one-on-one.
Good pass by Whipple. Lots of options for Patterson. She goes to Dalkey, who gets dug by Kayla Ellis. Swing for Goings. And too long.
Goings mishit that ball, just trying to keep it in. And that's really the challenge when you're in that out-of-system play, is how to put pressure on, obviously, but keep the ball in play when you don't have that big green light kill swing.
And that is the most important thing, keep the ball in play, right?
Well, yeah, and decide, especially for outside hitters, when to go for it and when to just allow your team to continue to play.
Mary-Kate Marshall. Another laser beam off Kim Gutierrez.
Given the talent that is in the Pac-12, pretty amazing. Dave Rubio said Mary-Kate Marshall, the top outside hitter in the conference right now.
And I think he meant outside Catherine Plummer.
Right. She's in her own category.
Yes.
For us humans.
Another kill for Mary-Kate Marshall. A moment ago you saw the setter Kylie McLaughlin as well, doing an excellent job finding Mary-Kate.
Terrific defense also from Ellis to keep that ball in play, allow Oregon State to continue to fire away.
Overpass, and Gravely capitalizes. Maddie Gravely with her first kill.
Cheshire sets that up with a great serve, attacks the serve-receive, forcing that overpass.
Cheshire, 21 aces, just 23 service errors this year, puts a lot of pressure on the other team from the service line. Swing for Whipple, dug by Goings. McLaughlin to Goings in transition, and she gets a kill. Maddie Goings, her third, and she was the one who got first contact.
Well, and out of the back row, Goings doing a nice job to get that power on her approach. That D ball out of the back row is a great outlet to score, even not on a perfect play.
Arizona out of system, and here goes Oregon State on that extended run that Dave Rubio wanted to avoid.
Exactly, we might want to look for a timeout from Rubio to slow it down. You feel the tempo really starting to go towards Oregon State.
Arizona team in transition, very talented, but young. Dalkey with a paintbrush and a pancake by Ellis. The kill for Mary-Kate Marshall. And again, it goes back to the dig by Ellis.
Exactly. You create opportunities through your defense, and Kayla Ellis doing such a fantastic job.
Ellis, former libero and defensive specialist right now. Can Oregon State capitalize? And they do. Another kill for Gravely. And now the Beavs have taken thorough command of this first game.
Yeah, very interesting that Arizona hasn't called a timeout. I'm given the huge discrepancy of points here, just allowing his team to play, Coach Rubio.
Dave Rubio, the longest tenured head coach in the Pac-12. Overpass, and Gravely was there. Beth Lanier, 28 years, but Utah's only been in the conference for 7 seasons now, so Rubio's been in the conference longer than any other coach. Gutierrez pass on the dime this time. Patterson to Dalkey, dug by Kayla Ellis. Swing for Mary-Kate Marshall. Diving dig by Gutierrez. Patterson, back row attack, Whipple. She gets dug by Goings. Bump set McLaughlin. Back row attack by Corey Cheshire. Dumped over by Julia Patterson. And did they ever need that?
And a very smart play from Patterson. You could tell the defense, Oregon State, really set back. They're way back, playing defense, just waiting for the big bang out of the back row. So an off-speed shot or a tip from Arizona is likely to fall.
Interesting to me that Dave Rubio said that having lost 5 starters, including a couple of third-team All-Americans in Kalei Mao and Panina Snuka, that the easiest transition has been at setter to Julia Patterson. Timeout taken by the Wildcats. 15-4, the Beavers lead in the first. Stanford sits atop the Pac-12 standings with wins over UCLA and USC last week. Utah, 12th in the nation, they're 7-1. Oregon State moving up the ranks at 3-5. They actually got votes in the most recent poll. Arizona right now at 2-6. They had a big win a couple of weeks ago over then 15th ranked USC, but then they lost a pair of tough ones last week. 3-1 at home to Utah, then they lost in 5 at home to Colorado. Paige Whipple, big swing. Haley Bennett, her former club teammate, with a big swing. Now Mary-Kate Marshall, and she has another kill. That's her 5th. Mary-Kate Marshall now 1,715 career kills. Shelly Smith, 2nd all-time at Oregon State, 1,763. Marshall should pass her next weekend against Utah or Colorado. Candace Denny with her first kill.
And all coaches will tell you it's a serve-pass game, and whoever can win the serve game will be the team that leads. Right now, Arizona really struggling to stay in system and develop any kind of offense.
Oregon State a little bit out of system. Devin Cross with the dig. Swing for Whipple. Going to the back line, and she got it. Arizona needed that. They have Candace Denny at the service line.
Great cut down the line from Whipple. That's a tough shot right in the service corner.
You could see it in Denny's eyes that she didn't like what was going on. And Haley Bennett with a kill for Oregon State. Haley Bennett, redshirt freshman from Philomath. That's about 6 miles west of here. Now Mary-Kate Marshall. Too long for Paige Whipple. So Arizona out of system again after a poor first contact, and Oregon State with an 18-6 lead here in the first game. Service error for Mary-Kate Marshall. That'll put the Arizona setter Julia Patterson at the service line.
And at this point, Arizona really needs to start hammering from behind the service line, because Oregon State's passing so well. They're able to run their offense at such a high level. They've got to take some chances.
Short serve to Maddie Goings. Swing for Haley Bennett over her former club teammate Whipple, and the kill for Haley Bennett.
Arizona really trying to serve short there to just disrupt the approaches, to maybe put up a well-formed block, but a tremendous set all the way to the outside leaves a ton of open line to hit into.
Grace Massey is the service line for Oregon State. Patterson, that pass tight to the net. Lots of options, and Whipple dials up a kill, her 2nd.
Whipple really provides a lot of power. The freshman finds that seam and attacks it hard.
Now she's back at the service line. Is she feeling extra pressure with more than 50 people here to watch her play tonight? Well,
I'm sure that she doesn't have to get emotional about it. I'm sure she's got a lot of fire inside for sure.
Block for Liz Shelton and Devin Cross. There's Devin. The two on the block were high school teammates in California, Desert High School on Edwards Air Force Base. Both of them came to volleyball in their junior year of high school. Haley Bennett, another kill. She now has 3.
Haley Bennett, really good. Was a middle prior, and so she runs that quick set all the way to the outside. She likes it quick and fast, and ironically, her mom was on the team in 1990, which was the last time that Oregon State swept those Washington schools.
Swing for Maddie Goings into the block, covered up by Cheshire. Joust. It's on Arizona's side, pushed over by Devin Cross. Creatively done.
Arizona, a very athletic school, very physical. If they can utilize that with some presence at the net, maybe on blocking, get those big first ball kills, they can start to work their way back in and gain some confidence of what is going to work against Oregon State, who just continues to stay so solid.
McLaughlin dials up Goings, and there's what I know you like, Amy, going high off the hands. Good approach by Goings.
Smart, and a smart play. You've got that big block in front of you, go after it. Attack the hands high and deep where there's no defender.
Rich Burke along with former U.S. national teamer Amy Gant. Quick to the middle. What a dig by Grace Massey off the swing from Cross. Are you joking? Now Shelton off the block and out of bounds. Arizona earned that one, but fantastic one-hand dig by her, Grace Massey.
Yeah, Massey stole that kill away. Fantastic stab, but great job to transition for Arizona as they really try to find some success that they can take into the second set.
Backslide, Corey Cheshire with a kill.
For McLaughlin, as she continues to just work different players into the offense, that opens everybody up because it puts so much pressure on the block for Arizona to try to keep track of the hitters and to put up a well-formed double block with no seam.
Kylie McLaughlin, a freshman, but she came in as a leader. There's a kill for Kendra Dahlke. That's her first in her 7th swing. Victoria Zbornik on to serve and play some defense for Arizona. Kill for Cheshire. That is number 2 for her, and it is set point for Oregon State.
And Oregon State really wanted to get their middles a little more involved. You see there's a big opening in the middle, and as that relationship continues to develop with the setter middles, they're going to be that much better.
That was something they lacked last year, and this is really opening things up for Mary-Kate Marshall. Kendra Dahlke, dug by Cheshire. McLaughlin dialing up Mary-Kate, looking for her 7th kill, and she got it. 7 first set kills for Mary-Kate Marshall, 25-11. The Beavs take game number 1 over the Wildcats, and Amy, it never really was close.
I think Oregon State stayed in system from the get-go and continued to roll throughout that entire
9-3. It took off from there in large part because of, guess who? Mary-Kate Marshall.
Mary-Kate Marshall so solid there on the outside and just ripping that ball, especially cross court. Defensively, Arizona had no answer. You could tell that Marshall has just become that confident outside hitter. She can put the ball anywhere she wants at any moment.
Arizona's head coach Dave Rubio told us before the match what he needs really is an emotional letdown from Oregon State because they had those big wins on the road last week at Washington. First time since 2001 they had beaten Washington either here or there. And then they won at Washington State. He needed an emotional letdown from the Oregon State Beavers. He hasn't gotten it.
No, yeah, I think everyone was wondering how Oregon State was going to come out after their big wins last weekend. Obviously, Oregon State hoped that they'd come in with a little more confidence. Hey, we can play in this league. Not only that, we belong and we can win night in and night out in this league. Arizona was hoping for maybe a little arrogance, but they definitely didn't get that.
You see Maddie Goings right there along with Haley Bennett. Bennett, the redshirt freshman. Maddie Goings, she is a true freshman. Goings and the setter Kylie McLaughlin in particular, along with Grace Massey there in the libero uniform. Those 3 coming in didn't know what Pac-12 volleyball was all about. And Mark Barnard, the Oregon State head coach, said, we didn't clue him in.
Right.
We didn't want to tell him how tough it would be. Goings and McLaughlin come from a great club team. They're used to winning.
Right.
Why let them think otherwise?
Exactly. That's just what we do. We win, and this must be Division I volleyball.
Mary-Kate Marshall She has an outside shot at breaking Rachel Rourke's school record for kills during the regular season. She needs to average 17.5 kills per match these last dozen matches of the year. Swing for Kendra Dalkey down the line. She gets a kill. She had just one in the first game.
The offense on both sides, obviously in that first set, Arizona really struggling. They only had 6 kills the entire first set. So they'd like to really get that going and use that athleticism that is definitely there.
Maddie Goings, big swing, dug by Gutierrez. Swing for Whipple, off the hand of Gravely. Attack for Haley Bennett, dug by Gutierrez, tight to the net, pushed over by Patterson, pancake by Massey. Swing for Marshall. She gets dug by Svoranik, joust at the net. Oregon State has it. Swing for Goings down the line and wide. Maddie thought she got the touch.
I respectfully disagree. Great rally on both sides of the floor. Both teams laying out defensively to keep that ball going, and missed opportunity there that almost looked like a touch off that play.
And that's what Maddie Goings thought. And I agree with you, Amy. I love, best of all, a great defensive play. Spornick making an effort at one right there, but no luck.
Well, I think defense shows how committed you are as a player to your effort, because great effort really shows defensively, because you're willing to make big moves, throw your body on the ground, be in tune with what's going on the other side. So a lot of times how a team's playing defensively really shows how into the match they are.
Dalkey went off speed from the back row and fell short of the tape. Another thing that has befallen Arizona at times this year is too many attack errors. Free ball coming for OSU. Who does McLaughlin dial up? Swing for Bennett, dug by Zvornik. Swing for Denny, dug by Mary Kate Marshall. Goings going off the block. What a swing for Kendra Dalkey, trying to make something out of nothing, but Cheshire gets it done. Beaver Dam getting into it tonight here at Gill Coliseum. Benny's here. This building opened up in 1949, now in its 69th year. Swing for Whipple, dug by Marshall. Maddie Goings did not get the touch. And Arizona back within one. Wildcats look to regroup here. What do they have to do?
Yeah, well, we've talked so much about that first ball kill out of side out, and actually in this second set, both teams struggling. Maybe the defense is so good on both sides, but neither team really very offensive out of that side out.
Mary Kate Marshall with a kill from the pipe.
Out of transition for OSU, Marshall's such a great outlet because she can get a kill even in out of system plays. Even when that pass isn't perfect up to the net, Marshall can get the job done.
She came in 53 kills behind Shelly Smith for second on the Beavers all-time list. Yeah, you don't think she's going to get him tonight, do you?
What's interesting about Marshall also is that she's very quiet in her kills. You know, who would have thought in that first set that she had 6? You know, she really just sides out well. She reminds me of Courtney Schwann at Washington, just kind of quietly, workhorse, get the job done.
Back row attack, backslide attack rather, Corey Cheshire, and watch the long run for Cheshire.
And what's great about the slide is that you use that lateral movement. You're up in the air and you're floating, and so the blockers have a tough time really knowing where to get in front of a slide, and when you're a slide hitter, you can pick the ball off at any time. So it's a really smart set if you can use it.
You usually end up one-on-one.
Yeah, and you wait, you can pick it off early, you can wait and use the block. It just has to be run with precision, and usually that pass has to be up to the net.
Paige Whipple to serve. Targeting Maddie Goings. Swing for Mary Kate Marshall. Dug by Gutierrez. Patterson. And we had a violation. Patterson was on the other side of the line.
With Patterson in the back row playing defense, she's got to come up to the net to set that ball, and it's just hard to get there when that pass is so tight. 7-5
Oregon State. Cheshire usually very strong at the service line. Service error there. talking about Mary-Kate Marshall, and you said her face doesn't change. Mark Barnard calls her the silent assassin.
Right. He said there's definitely stuff going on deep inside. She's one of the most competitive people he knows, but she's very quiet about it.
Katie Smoot, excellent jump serve. Using the tape there. Marshall going hard angle attack and finding the floor. She is really good at that.
Well, her sharp cross shot is very difficult to defend. She can go inside those blockers and really prize defense. You see Arizona nowhere, and a lot of times as a defender you want to line up on the outside shoulder of your blocker so you're right in line, but Marshall even puts it within the 3-meter line.
Yeah, and that's amazing. You don't expect somebody to go there because they have less floor to work with. Stuff blocked by Marshall and Bradley.
And Arizona had started out the second set pretty even, but Oregon State has started to roll here after that timeout.
Another timeout taken by Arizona. 9-6 Beavers lead here in the second game. Cats trying to stay above water.
Most universities dream of excelling at one thing. The Pac-12 excels at many. We have a tradition of bringing all the right elements together. That's our team chemistry. With over 500 NCAA titles to our name, our dominance across all sports is unquestioned. The commitment to our student athletes is unparalleled. These are the elements of excellence. Pac-12, the Conference of Champions.
Coach Kelly, she motivates me to play better, to practice more. For Coach Kelly, academics is first and golf is second. She's very supportive in whatever major you choose, so she'll adjust practices for you depending on what you need to do. I really enjoy the relationship that I have with her as a coach player. Olivia Brown, Washington State, women's golf. Go Cougs!
Oregon State a dominant win in the first game. They lead 9-6 here in the second. Rich Burke along with Amy Gant. Oregon State coming off their biggest weekend in at least 3 years. Last time they made the NCAA tournament. They're looking for their first 3-match conference win streak in 16 years. Mark Barnard, out of Australia, a couple of years as the head coach of the Australian national team. Took them from 100 to 46th in the world. Had to give it up, though, because of all the travel with both duties. And the poor first contact on Arizona.
And I think Arizona, you really can't downplay the loss of McKenna Martin at libero. She's out with a concussion, and just her passing alone, you look at how difficult it has been for Arizona to get in system at all.
Back-to-back aces for Kylie McLaughlin, targeting Paige Whipple each time.
And the only other player that really would be difficult to replace would be Julia Patterson for Arizona as the only setter, and she just dove into the sideline, running that ball down. So
she's got to be careful. She's coming over again off that poor first contact, this time from Tyler Spriggs into the match for the first time. Swing for Mary-Kate Marshall, high off the hands. Good dig by Gutierrez, pushed over by Candace Denny. Joust won by Elizabeth Shelton.
Liz Shelton really taking advantage of that overpass, putting it down right next to the net. Look at that. Really tough to defend when it almost touches the net.
Dave Rubio describes her as an alpha female. He says she is an animal. When she was playing basketball as her youth, her mom had to tell her, you can't hurt people. Mary-Kate Marshall at the service line. 46 kills last week, including 8 in the 5th set against the University of Washington. She willed the Beavers to that win in Seattle. Goings going off speed. One-hand diving dig by Dalkey. Spriggs sends it over on a free ball. McLaughlin dialing up. Bennett with a kill.
And
that's number 4.
A good setter knows what's going on the other side of the floor. Terrific set from Kylie McLaughlin. Recognizing Dalkey had to run all the way over to pick up that ball and then was slow getting back to get over for the block. Great set to go to Bennett.
Resulted in a one-on-one, and Bennett tooled the block. Swing for Dalkey. And she finds a seam in the block of Gravely and Bennett.
Dalkey with a nice high swing. Goes right through the top of the hands, and the physical nature of Arizona could really help them here as they can put some heat on the ball.
Yeah, this is not Arizona's match, not yet anyway. And there's Maddie Gravely finding the floor. But Arizona, young and talented, another great recruiting class for Dave Rubio. It's back-to-back recruiting classes now. In fact, 3 in a row that have been in the top 15 recruiting classes in the nation for Arizona. Candace Denny going wide.
Denny very good behind the setter. In fact, she was recruited because she's so good off one foot, trying to hammer that ball down the line and just misses.
Each coach told us about that, about Denny's ability to do that. Dave Rubio said that's why we recruit her, and Mark Barnard said we've been working on ways to defend her going behind the setter.
Right, so you would ask, well, why haven't we seen more of her in this set? And that's because the passing for Arizona hasn't been there. They can't run the slide if they can't get a pass up to the net.
Yeah, they have rarely been insistent, the Wildcats. Back row attack, Mary-Kate Marshall. Diving dig effort by Gutierrez, but another kill to Mary-Kate. She has 10. 3 here in the second game.
Mary-Kate Marshall does not make errors. She's so smart. 0 errors, 9 for 16, and just knows where to put the ball, when to go for that big-time kill, and when to keep the ball in play.
Hitting .588. Mackenzie Jacobson into the match, goes off speed. Maddie going swing into the block of Jacobson and Patterson, and now Haley Bennett. Haley Bennett with a kill.
McLaughlin again setting antenna to antenna, outside and then back just as quickly, opening up. There's holes in the block as Jacobson tries to move out to close.
Grace Massey on to serve. Massey won the libero job a couple of weeks ago. Kayla Ellis has done an excellent job as defensive specialist since then. Swing for Spriggs, into the block of Bennett.
Talking about the great youth on this Oregon State team. It's a team that a lot of the coaches will say, hey, they're just great volleyball players. They're very smart, they move well, and that's usually reserved for older players. That's when you become that good seasoned player, but 4 freshmen for Oregon State, just amazing. They do not play like freshmen.
Including that person, Grace Massey serving right there. Swing for Spriggs, and a kill for Tyler Spriggs. That's her first. Tyler Spriggs out of Los Angeles. Her dad, Larry, played in the NBA for 5 years in the mid-'80s. Mostly with the Lakers. Helped them win the title in 1985. Chardonnay Hayes, a middle blocker. Doesn't get much of a chance to play. This is just her 9th set. And she dials up an ace. That is her first ace as a collegian.
Got a lot of float, a lot of movement on that serve.
Columbus, Georgia native. Swing for Bennett, going off speed. Very creatively done for Haley Bennett, putting on a show here in the second set.
Yeah, Haley Bennett, 5 for 10, 6. That's her 6th kill, no errors. That behind the setter has been so good for Oregon State.
She has 3 kills in each game. And now Kayla Ellis on to serve, dumped over by Patterson, read well by Massey. Swing for Goings and the kill for Goings.
The fact that Oregon State defensively can pop the ball up time after time, but then turn that transition into such a quick set, either back or all the way to the outside, makes the defense for Arizona really have to be on their toes because they always are moving. They have to be ready to anticipate what's going on because it's just so fast.
There's Kayla Ellis, and talking about defense, she had been the libero, now a defensive specialist. Mark Barnard told us that the time off that she gets when she's on the bench as a DS helps her calm down, and that's good for her because she's so intense.
She's a very intense player, very active, moves well along the back row, and when you're a libero, you're in there all the time, and so it can be exhausting. So Ellis has that chance to kind of breathe, get off, and then get back in and bring that spark to the team.
Mackenzie Hernandez, the backup setter, on to serve for Arizona. service error. Hernandez playing in just her 7th set this year, so Dave Rubio using some players who haven't gotten much of a shot this year.
I think offensively, Arizona just really struggling to find anything that will work, as Oregon State hasn't let up. They haven't helped Arizona at all by making them forced errors or missing some balls. They've just played solid the entire match so far.
Arizona now with 10 attack errors in the match. Hernandez dialing up Jade Turner. Pancake for Oregon State. Dig by Dulke. Hernandez going to the middle to Turner. One-hand diving dig effort by Massey, and it's a kill for Shelton.
Transition kill again, as Arizona has had so few of those opportunities to finish with Shelton. But she's a player that if she gets going, she's such a dominant physical player. They really can get her going. In fact, Dave Rubio said she has the ability to maybe be the best player to ever play at Arizona.
And that's saying something. The likes of Maddie Kingdon. Backslide attack. Corey Cheshire pushed over nicely by Dulke, kept alive by Oregon State, and Kayla Ellis diving dig by Hernandez. Swing for Dulke. Lots of options for McLaughlin. To the middle to Corey Cheshire. Diving dig, nicely done by Spriggs. Swing for Shelton into the block of Marshall and Cheshire.
Shelton decided to go for that one. That's a tough play considering she lost sight of the blockers that were in front of her. It was a well-formed double block. Marshall was all over it.
Oregon State won the first game 25-11. They took control early in this one as well. That one came right to me, and Amy, I would have said it, but I was afraid I'd get called for the double.
Right.
Katie Smoots, bright future here as an outside hitter, serving specialist right now, and she has an ace. That's her 7th of the year.
And it's interesting, Coach said, she has the potential to be a game changer as a server. When you are a great attacker from behind the service line, that can disrupt an entire match.
Back row attack, Maddie Goings. And Maddie Goings with another kill. She has 6, and it puts the Beavs at set point.
And we talked about how defense and defensive effort show how into a match you are. To the fact that Arizona, although down and obviously frustrated that nobody went to the floor for that tip, is showing in their mental state. They're frustrated. They're kind of back on their heels, not feeling good.
Hernandez going to Dulke. Bennett with a chance to end the set. Dug by Hernandez. Now Dulke. Hard angle attack. She goes long, and Oregon State takes the second one 25-15. After winning the first one 25-11. So heading into intermission, a dominant run for Oregon State to go up 2-0. And the head coach of the Oregon State Beavers is Mark Barnard in his 2nd year. 10 kills for Mary Kate Marshall, 526. 5 kills for Maddie Gravely in 6 swings. And we're joined by Mark Barnard. And Mark, it doesn't seem like no matter what the opponents do, Mary Kate Marshall is able to find a way to find the floor. How good is she, huh?
She's very good. And I was speaking with Dave Rubio before the match, the Arizona coach, and he said the thing that she has is range. So she can hit the ball anywhere, and she can hit it accurately. And I think, a lot of hitters have tendencies. Mary Kate has an ability to just hit every shot, and that just makes it so hard to defend.
Coach, your team played so well those first 2 sets. Obviously, that 10-minute break probably not very exciting for you. What are you going to tell them in the break?
Well, you know, the one thing about the 10-minute break is there's a very clear definition between the two teams. They know they have to win the next set, so you've got to expect that's how they're going to come out. And for us, if we come out like we want to protect our lead, then that's not going to go well for us. We've got to really try to mimic what we did in the first 2 sets with the intensity that we played. Otherwise, like I said, that 10-minute break can turn into a bit of a death knell.
Well, you were able to avoid the emotional letdown against Washington State, able to avoid it again today in the first 2 games. Good luck in the 3rd set.
Okay, thanks very much.
All right, Mark Barnard, head coach of the Oregon State Beavers. Kate Rooney coming up with our Pac-12 Spike Night intermission report. Oregon State leading 2-0. Oregon State leading 2-0 going to the 3rd game. Welcoming the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats, Dave Rubio. And you'd said before the match that a couple of your keys were applying pressure on Oregon State from the service line and getting a first ball side out. Neither of those went well. How do you regroup for the 3rd set?
Well, I was hoping that we get a few first responders out here and clean up the mess that we're leaving. It's getting a little bloody out there. To be honest, I don't have an answer. I mean, other than simple execution. You know, that's the bottom line.
You know, Coach, you have that big 10-minute break, a chance to reset and come out and, in essence, start a new match. What do you see needs to happen for your team to take this 3rd set?
Well, I think we need to pack our bags, go home, and try to get ready for them in a couple of weeks when we play them at home.
Dave, good luck.
Thank you.
I know you got some talent, bud.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Dave Rubio, head coach of the Arizona Wildcats, putting it bluntly, as always.
Well, and I think the difficult thing about this match is, Coach Rubio said before, they need Oregon State to help them out a little bit, which is give them, you know, a couple unforced errors, maybe miss some serves. And Oregon State has played the opposite. They have not opened the door once.
Have a look at some defense that we've seen in this one. Grace Massey, the true freshman for Oregon State, with a diving dig there. And then the pancake.
Right, and for Arizona, any offense that they tried to throw at Oregon State was not only dug up, but then quickly transitioned for a kill right back down their throats. So it's incredibly frustrating for the Wildcats.
Grace Massey, an Oregonian from that great Jesuit high school program in Portland. Helped them to back-to-back state titles, 2014 and 2015, undefeated both years. And her sister Marty had played volleyball at Oregon State, 2010 through 2012.
Oregon State was able to obviously capitalize on some of the momentum from the first set, take it into the 2nd set, but with that reset, that 10-minute break, obviously everything has to be manufactured again. And so the challenge when you go up 2-0 very easily is that you'll come out complacent in the 3rd and allow a team to get up on you. So for sure, Oregon State wants to come out firing just like they did in the first 2 sets.
And you can't blame Dave Rubio for being frustrated.
For sure, everything he tried was unsuccessful, and his team clearly felt it as well. When you don't see the way you can be successful, there's no openings, it's hard to find those.
Cheshire going wide. Arizona has the first point here in the 3rd game.
And we talked a lot about not opening the door for Oregon State. Only 9 total unforced errors in the first 2 sets for Oregon State. So that's pretty incredible. Between hitting errors and service errors, they only had 9 total. So they didn't give away many points.
Only 9. That is incredible. Chardonnay Hayes had an ace in the 2nd game, and she served the first point here in the 3rd, and yet she comes out for Victoria Svarenic.
Good heads-up play for Cheshire, recognizing the big gaping hole as she tips that ball just right over her blocker.
That is fantastic vision on Cheshire's part. Pass tight to the net from Gutierrez. Swing for Kendra Dulkey, and one of the few times that Arizona has been in system in this entire match.
Exactly. How would this match have been different had Arizona been able to pass and had maybe McKenna Martin been out there as a libero passing the majority of balls? The offense that Arizona can provide is pretty spectacular.
Dumped over by Kylie McLaughlin, and she has a kill. For McLaughlin, that's her first.
McLaughlin recognizing the defense for Arizona way back on their heels. Nobody in the middle of the court or even moving to watch their setter.
Now Kyla McLaughlin back at the service line, and she has an ace. McLaughlin with her 10th ace of the year.
You know, and when you're struggling in the passing lanes like Arizona has been so far in this match, it just does something to you mentally more than anything. It's demoralizing, and it's difficult to get back in because you just end up being in your own head the whole time.
Tyler Spriggs with a bullet for a kill. That evens up this third set at 3.
And so far for Arizona, that first ball side out has been pretty good. Although the passing has struggled at times when they have gotten a pass, it has been a first ball kill.
Mary-Kate Marshall, over dig. Another swing for Mary-Kate, into the block of Spriggs and Jacobson. Mackenzie Jacobson, 6'7".
Jacobson trying to get over there, but Spriggs taking away that line shot. Tremendous block.
Off speed for Haley Bennett. Spriggs was there. Back row attack, Dalkey down into the tape.
You know, that's a missed opportunity right there from Arizona because Oregon State, although they've been very good, obviously, scoring all night, that particular rotation, when you have Mary-Kate Marshall stuck there on the right side out of serve receive, is a very difficult one for them to get a side out in.
Dalkey dug by McLaughlin right against the antenna, and Bennett gets the kill.
It's a tough play from Bennett. You see she had to turn around, complete 180, and just use that block out of bounds.
Sometimes you just have to figure out a way to get it done.
Well, and you blindly.
An ace for Marshall.
The bottom dropped out of that serve from Marshall as she was able to kind of get the ball rolling tempo-wise and momentum for Oregon State, and clearly Arizona felt that.
29th service ace of the year for Marshall.
I'm Joe Dykstra, head swimming and diving coach at the University of Utah, and you're watching Pac-12 Network.
Introducing the new 5W Prime from Tachikara. Our new T-Tech Micro Leather is engineered to enhance ball control.
I like the texture, it feels good on my fingertips.
When I have a sweaty platform, I know I can still pass this ball up to my setter.
Tachikara's history of using the most advanced materials and construction methods continues with our new T-Tech Micro Leather found only on the 5W Prime.
This program right here is about family and toughness.
Every team says that, but only a few teams really have that.
Thursday, the Beavs and the Bears go to battle. Will Timmy Mueller have a striking performance for Oregon State?
The equalizer!
Thursday at 3 on Pac-12 Network.
Pac-12 Women's Volleyball is presented by Tachikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. Back here at Gill Coliseum, Spike Night. Oregon State looking for their third consecutive conference win. Yeah, they have a 6-4 lead here in the third game after dominant wins in the first two sets, 25-11 and 25-15.
Yeah, this one a little tighter as Arizona has really picked up their side-out offense, getting a few more kills.
Swing for Tyler Spriggs. Massey unable to dig that one, and Spriggs has her second kill. In fact, that's number 3.
And Arizona struggled so much in those first two sets offensively. They only had 15 total kills in the first two sets. So already for them to have 3, you know, they're on track here, and you could tell the difference as this is evened up in this third set.
The block here for Arizona, Spriggs and Jacobson. Julia Patterson, the setter at the service line. She had just 9 assists in the first two sets combined.
Just really
just being out of system.
Well, and yeah, offense just couldn't get going for Arizona.
This is about the point in the second set where Oregon State took charge. And Arizona now evens it up after the service error by Massey.
Well, and there's a mental challenge with Oregon State. Everything really rolled well for them in the first 2 sets. You know, you have times as a player where things are going well and you don't really have to work that hard and everything just seems to be clicking. And I think that was the first 2 sets for Oregon State. And that always changes. And the real question for teams is, how do you respond when things become a little difficult? Do you end up making those adjustments that will allow you to keep working hard and keep executing, despite when a team like Arizona makes adjustments as well and raises their level?
Haley Bennett just had her 8th kill. Smoot with a swing. Off speed by Cheshire and a net violation.
That pass a little tight and McLaughlin, trying to save that ball, gets caught in the net. See her foot go under.
Yeah, foot on the other side of the line. McLaughlin trying to make something out of nothing. Lots of options for Patterson. Quick to the middle. And the kill for Jade Turner.
Well, and it all starts with the tough serve. Gutierrez put that ball in play and made Oregon State give them a free ball back over. And as a result, Arizona was able to run an offense and get a play going.
Jade Turner, great athlete.
Arizona out of rotation. Gutierrez was not the server who was supposed to be doing that, so they need to make that adjustment. And how frustrating. You could see Coach Rubio, just as they were starting to kind of get some momentum and feel the tempo switch their way, it goes back to Oregon State.
That mental mistake costs Arizona. Dave Rubio, 19 NCAA tournament appearances in 25 seasons, 1 Final Four, 2001. Dalkey into the block of Cheshire and McLaughlin. Results in a free ball for Oregon State. McLaughlin, backslide Cheshire off the block of Dalkey. Dug by Gutierrez. Swing for Dalkey, high off the hands. And another kill for Mary Kate. Everything going her way.
Right, even the backwards punch kill that she tried to save, that was a very aggressive set to Mary Kate Marshall, and that's all she could really do to keep it in play.
You know, Mary Kate's here at Gill Coliseum at midnight working on her backward punch kill.
Right, she's got range.
Mm-hmm. Patty Goings to serve. Patterson goes to Smoot, and a solo block for Mary Kate Marshall. That is her 6th of the year.
Marshall all over that play. She was...
Haley Bennett of Oregon State, Paige Whipple of Arizona, club volleyball teammates here in Oregon for a long time. Very good friends. There they are after winning a tournament. And now they are on opposing sides. Paige Whipple on the left and Haley Bennett on the right. And both true freshmen for their respective schools. Whipple hadn't played since a couple of bad first contacts on serves in the second set. Haley Bennett, lots going right for her. Dig by Gutierrez. Paintbrush by Turner. Diving dig by Massey. What a play. All over the floor. Off speed for Liz Shelton. Diving dig by Goings. Swing for Mary Kate Marshall. Dug by Spriggs. Here's Shelton. Big right arm. Dug by Massey. Back row attack for Kayla Ellis. How about that? Swing for Smoot, off speed. Diving dig by Massey, but it found the floor. How about the back row attack from the former libero, Kayla Ellis?
Well, I love to have all these players. Not only are they popping balls up, incredible quick reactions and defensive effort, but they don't get free balls back over. They're attacking out of the back row.
Patty Goings finds the floor just along the back line.
Maddie Goings, tremendous job out of the backcourt. Whenever you're out of system and that pass isn't up to the net, the fact that they can utilize the back row and really get good swings out of there puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
Big difference for Oregon State this year, able to score from all over the floor. Ellis read the dump of Patterson well. There for the block, McLaughlin and Gravely. Another swing for Shelton, off the block again. Good coverage by McLaughlin. Patterson dialing up Shelton. Third swing of the rally. Oregon State keeping it alive. What plays by Cheshire and Goings. Beavers worked hard for that one.
Well, both sides did. How many swings did Liz Shelton take? And then to end it with a poor pass on the free ball, as we see the nice defensive effort on both sides. Just one-handed stabs in pursuit. You know, you love to see these defensive players that when the ball comes their way as a defender, even if it's not to them, they turn and face the ball, and that way you can really react well, even if it's coming right at you.
Oregon State with a popcorn machine leading to that point. Shelton into the block of Maddie Gravely. Maddie Gravely, kind of unorthodox with her blocking, Mark Barnard says, but she gets it done.
She finds a way, really does a nice job kind of dropping her arm into a seam and pulling out a block when maybe she's not there with her body.
Liz Shelton into the block. Good coverage by Candace Denny, but Oregon State gets the point anyway.
Well, and where Arizona had felt pretty good, you know, they were getting some kills. There's nothing more frustrating than go up and hitting your best swing and having it dug. That just is a little deflating emotionally, and as the defense has picked up for Oregon State, their tempo's picked up, the momentum, and they've extended their lead.
How do you recover from the beatdown that appears to be in process here?
Well, I think you just chalk it up to one of those days. I think we all can remember those times, you know, playing and in life when just nothing is working, and you know that in the next match it'll be different, and you just have to really will yourself to continue to put forth the effort even though things aren't going your way. You can't give up.
Arizona will be at Oregon on Friday. That'll be on Pac-12 Arizona, Pac-12 Oregon. Amy and I will be there for that one at 8 o'clock. Kylie McLaughlin, true freshman setter. The steely eyes, a serious attitude, not happy-go-lucky, Mark Barnard says, but has come in as a leader. Block for Bennett and Gravely. Oregon State now with 17 blocks to 5.5 for Arizona.
Bennett getting in there, setting that ball up well into the approach. Very smart play.
Hard angle attack by Candace Denny. That's why they recruited her, because she's so good behind the setter.
And what a swing. You could see her get behind that, put it well inside the 3-meter line.
Out of Archbishop Mitty High School, one of the top programs in the nation, Bay Area. Helped lead them to 4 consecutive state championships. Jacobson, dug by Goings. Swing for Bennett. She gets dug by her former club teammate Whipple. Swing for Shelton from the back row. Elizabeth Shelton.
Nice quick swing from Shelton. She has a pretty fast arm swing as she generates a lot of power there out of the back row.
Was the valedictorian at Desert High School, Edwards Air Force Base. Shelton wants to be a neuroscientist or molecular geneticist. Maddie Gravely. You don't see her on the backslide as often as Cheshire, but she can do it as well.
Well, and especially when those one-on-ones, when you get that one-on-one, that ball for sure is going to go down.
Spriggs high in the air, but likewise Bennett and Gravely high in the air. The 8th block for the Beavs.
Well, I think for Arizona, they have such athleticism. They jump so well. A lot of them touch, you know, upwards around 10-9, 10-8. And so as a hitter, instead of trying to hammer that low seam, as we get a good look at another ace from Oregon State, but for Arizona, keep the ball high. Hit it high and hard and deep and use that physicality that they have to kind of jump over the block.
All credit to Oregon State for this one tonight. Backslide Jacobson down the line. Another attack error on Arizona. That is their 18th attack error of the match. Against 22 kills as a team. 88 swings, they're hitting .045.
Just really struggling, and like you said, Oregon State has just played so steady, and even at the beginning of this third set when Arizona came out and kind of made a push, Oregon State didn't get stressed. They just continued to battle and work hard defensively and continued to kind of scrap and fight their way back into getting that tempo and momentum on their side.
To the middle of Gravely, diving dig by Gutierrez, pushed over by Hernandez. Swing for Goings into the block of Jacobson.
Jacobson at 6'7", obviously a very big block as she gets outside to try to shut down that seam. It's tough to get by, especially when you're 5'9", as Goings is.
Jacobson 6'7". Kudos to Arizona for still playing hard at this point. Haley Bennett going down the line and goes wide. That's her first attack error of the match. She has 8 kills. Mackenzie Hernandez, the backup setter, to serve. Goings uses the block of Smoots.
And because Goings at 5'9", you know, a little more undersized, that set has to be right on, and it's a benefit that it's so quick to the outside, because that really allows her more one-on-one situations that she can kind of chip around the block.
Wasn't expected that Goings would be this good this early. Wasn't expected she'd play a lot until Lanisha Reagan had the knee injury prior to their first match.
Right, Coach said we kind of threw her in the deep end and figured out that she's a pretty good swimmer, and she's done a nice job of holding her own out there.
Haley Bennett looking for another kill, and she got it. She's got 9. Her high here in her redshirt freshman season, 13 back in September against Fresno State.
McLaughlin, good choice as well to really get a lot of open court for Bennett, allowing her to hit into.
6'1" and has pretty good hops. Katie Smoot. Mary Kate Marshall. And too strong that time. A rare attack error on Marshall, just her second. To go with 11 kills and 24 swings. Now Mackenzie Jacobson, the most experienced Wildcat, redshirt senior. And the service error puts the Beavers at match point.
Definitely a frustrating match for Arizona. But in the Pac-12, tomorrow's another day and another very intense battle. They can go and regroup and get ready for Oregon. For Oregon State, they've got to feel pretty good about how they've played.
Candace Denny with a kill. Looking for something positive heading into Friday's match at Oregon. That's her 3rd kill.
And all of them have been exclamation points, just hammers. Denny moves very well along the net.
It's an ace for Katie Smoot. That's her 2nd of the match and her 8th of the year. Bright future as a pin hitter, but right now primarily a serving specialist. And that'll end it. A 25-18 Beaver win in the 3rd game. They close it out 25-11, 25-15, 25-13. First time they've won 3 matches in a row in conference play in 16 years.
Well, and Oregon State clearly bringing in some confidence after their big wins against the Washington schools. They looked very solid all